Express. Continuing our conversation, it's like magic. She was on the phone with us during the last segment, and we take a little break, a little breather, and she's in studio with us, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, on the Talk of the Town here this morning, along with myself, Jason Aiello, Rocco LaDuca, Mark Wolber, Alex in the production booth. 624-0870 is the number to reach us.
Claudia's holding a pumpkin right now.
Pumpkins. You guys are so harvest
that
ready.
That pumpkin, you know where I got that pumpkin?
I don't know where.
Kids.
At what's it, Kids Farm?
Kids Farm. Well, at the Oneida County
At the Oneida County Public Market for $1. Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I love pumpkin.
You're holding court, or you're holding the pumpkin? Who gambled who in here?
I like my favorite food. I think would be pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. I don't know why. I just love it.
I said
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Pumpkin pie.
I could have it for breakfast.
In Jamaica, they serve.
They say it's the new bacon. It's the new bacon.
Pumpkin.
Really? Is it
really? Look at you! Look so bummed out when I said that.
Pumpkin is good for you.
Bacon guy there.
Pumpkin is very good for you.
Pumpkin is good for you. They say that if I give my dog pumpkin, he won't be as fat. But
really, Rocco loves bacon.
Like mashed pumpkin or like cantaloupe?
Just like
I think I've said this before here, but in Jamaica, when you go through the buffet, they have pumpkin on the line almost all the time.
It's delicious.
Just baked pumpkin.
Oh, isn't this great? If the whole campaign you could just talk about pumpkin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How much you like it?
I would. Wouldn't that be fun?
How does the trade deal affect pumpkin market?
I want to follow up with something. You said you made the tax cut permanent.
Yes, we voted last week to make the tax cuts permanent. In the entire U.S. House of Representatives, only 3 Democrats voted to make the tax cuts permanent for
the middle class.
That's
only
3.
Package,
one was
right?
Connor Lamb, who's in a tough seat. You know, he's running in a slightly Republican district. Who had that? He was like the big special election before they did redistricting, and I think Kirsten Sinema, who's in a tough tough run for Senate in Arizona, and I can't remember who the third one was.
Connor Lamb, he's only been there for a few months now, right?
Well, earlier this year, the big special election.
When the commercials come out and they say that you voted for a tax cut that will result in an increase in taxes for the middle class, that was assuming that the tax cuts were not made permanent.
Actually, assuming at the end of 10 years when they expired that they would go back to what they originally were.
Right, and then that would cause an increase in the middle class.
At the end of 10 years.
Currently. But now that's not going to happen anymore.
Well,
no,
did the Senate
the Senate's going to vote on it. I don't. Right now, they're so caught up in the other issues.
So that would have expired under the Tax Cuts and the Jobs Act of 2025, but this is going to continue on.
Yeah, this is we voted in the House to make them permanent.
So now if the Senate passes it, obviously Trump's not going to veto it, so that'll be right.
And the other thing that really irritates me is and actually this was disproven by the Empire Center. I put it on Facebook, but other people can find it. There's some ad that says I voted for an age tax. I would never voted for an age tax. It is against my core principles to vote for a tax increase. What they're talking about is under the American Health Care Act. What they did is, because Obamacare actually hurts seniors and hurts people with special needs, we took almost $1 trillion from Medicare, that's what we earn through Social Security and Medicare, and put it into Obamacare. That has caused Medicare to be more expensive. And what we did is there was a subsidy. So if you're special needs or a senior, you only get a 50% subsidy out of Obamacare. But if you're a 27-year-old, excuse me for bureaucratic terms, so this is how they look at people. If you're a 27-year-old childless adult with no disabilities, you get almost 100% subsidy from Obamacare. So what we did is Obamacare hurt seniors, and we are trying to realign that so seniors actually get the benefit that they deserve and they paid for. So that's what the American Health Care Act did. So New York has what they call a 1-to-1 community rating. That means insurance companies are prohibited from charging more to seniors. So in that bill, the state of New York insurance companies are prohibited from charging any more to seniors. Also in that bill, this ad hasn't come, but I'm sure it's coming because it's across the country. I co-sponsored a bill under the American Health Care Act. It was Congressman MacArthur's bill that prohibits insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions. Not only that, it mandates that they must. Insurance companies must cover people with pre-existing conditions. That I voted for. I co-sponsored the bill on that for the American Health Care Act. And unfortunately, John McCain, God rest his soul, voted no, so that bill didn't pass in the Senate. That's where we are today. This bill that I keep getting accused of voting for in the House of Representatives is not law. What you're seeing, as I said before, the problem with health care now is that the continued implosion of Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
So the complaint that most seniors have is they got an increase in their Social Security, but because the cost of Medicare went up,
right,
they ended up with almost no net increase in their check.
Right, or they had a decrease because the cost of Medicare eclipsed the raise that President Trump gave them. We gave them a raise in Social Security because they haven't been getting their COLA raises, and I don't know, it was 2012 or 2014. President Obama actually stopped. He took out a certain credit that we were all getting in our checks when you were in your Social Security. They took that away. We've added that back in. So you're actually getting more out of your paycheck from your Social Security side of it and also from the tax cuts.
Yeah, standard deductions, permanent, the permanently raised child tax credit, those are all...
all that was made permanent. So it's, the reason the economy is doing so well is because of the rolling back of unnecessary regulations, and I don't support... I mean, I love these ads. I mean, I see, like, I'm supporting dirty air and water. It's all the stuff you hear Sean Hannity talk about. Why would I support that? I mean, that's absurd.
Right.
So, I mean, come on. Why would I hurt seniors? I'm coming, and I'm not far away from getting my Medicare and Social Security.
Well, I believe that's along the lines of policies that would help companies and corporations, would limit how much they have to concern about what they're polluting.
But it's absurd, though. I mean, it's just that I actually was home last night. I never get home before 10 o'clock, and I was home a little early to get to watch some of these ads, where they have these pictures of me, the tracker takes, when I'm walking around, they make it's just hysterical.
Well, the latest one is the one of your office. I don't know if it's your office or a mock office, has all your photo opportunities all over the wall.
No, I haven't seen that one.
There are two new PAC ads out, one against you and one against your opponent as well. But we're going to go to CBS News here, Mark, and you mentioned water. We'll get into that because one of the conversations or topics we got into last week you joined us here was this declaration that you were asking the Trump administration for, along with John Faso, and it looks like that has been granted. So we can talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about one of these recent polls. We got a whole bunch of stuff here now that you're in studio that we can get into. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney joining us here on the Talk of the Town, Talk 100.7 FM. As I mentioned, CBS News coming up, your local news, and we'll get an idea of what we can expect as far as the weather from WKTV meteorologist Jill Reel. Stay tuned, folks.